All right, so welcome to the deep dive, and today we're going to do something a little different.
Ooh, different, good.
Yeah, we're going to dive into a CV.
A curriculum vitae, exciting stuff.
Yeah, well, it's actually pretty interesting. This is the CV of Camilo Ernesto Cruz, and he's had a fascinating career.
I've had a sneak peek at this, and yeah, color me intrigued.
So before you think, oh, this is going to be boring, just a list of jobs, think of it like we're getting a backstage pass.
Ooh, I like that backstage pass.
To see how somebody in a really important industry, supply chain and logistics, builds a killer career.
Yeah, especially in telecommunications, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to see how Camilo went from, entry level all the way up to leading major projects.
And making a real impact on the bottom line, too, right?
Big time. So we're talking optimizing processes, saving companies huge amounts of money, and leading teams like a pro.
This isn't just about what he did, it's about how he did it, the strategies and the thinking behind it.
Exactly. So let's start back in 2004 with his first role at Secretaría de Gobierno, FVS Proyecto Misión Bogotá.
Okay, early days.
Yeah, so from April 2004 to January 2007, he was doing administrative and financial management stuff.
The nuts and bolts.
Yeah, like handling payments for contractors.
Which, might not sound super glamorous, but it's crucial, right?
Oh, absolutely. If the money's not flowing smoothly, nothing else works.
And think about it, even back then, he's learning about how organizations work, how to be accountable for the finances.
Right, that attention to detail is super important, and it's probably something that helped him later on.
Totally, because when you're dealing with logistics, those financial decisions have huge consequences.
Okay, so next up, April 2007, he moves to Action Plus / Johnson & Johnson Medical.
Okay, big name there.
Yeah, and his title is Customer Logistics and Business Support Analyst until June 2009.
So now we're starting to see that logistics element coming into play.
Right, he's working on pricing in Colombia using systems like Siebel and JDE Enterprise One.
The software that keeps these big companies running.
Exactly. He's managing databases, processing purchase orders, and coordinating logistics across the whole country.
Wow, so he's getting a really broad view of how things work.
And get this, in 2008, he wins a Premio a la Excelencia.
Whoa, hold on, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah, it means he was already standing out, making a real impact, even at that early stage.
That's got to be a confidence booster, too. Like, you're on the right track.
For sure. Okay, so then in September 2009, he makes a big move to DirecTV Colombia Ltda.
Okay, into the world of telecommunications.
Yep, he starts as an inventories analyst from September 2009 to March 2011.
So managing all that equipment.
Exactly. He's responsible for the inventory for the companies that actually install the DirecTV stuff.
Makes sense. And he's working with Kuhn plus Nagel, right?
Your logistics companies, that's a major third-party logistics provider.
So DirecTV outsources that part of the process to them.
Yeah, and he's also involved in something called a skill-to-retrieval pilot.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, so at this point, he's dealing with the physical equipment and the whole network of outsourced logistics.
That experience with a 3PL like Kuhn plus Nagel is so valuable.
All right, you got to manage those relationships, make sure everything's aligned.
And that skill to retrieval thing, it's a hint that he's starting to think about reverse logistics.
Oh, you're right. The whole process of getting products back from customers.
Yeah, thinking about the entire life cycle of the equipment, not just sending it out.
Okay, so then from March 2011 to June 2012, he becomes a Logistica Inversa analyst at DirecTV.
Okay, so now he's diving deep into reverse logistics.
Head first, he's managing junior analysts who are dealing with returned satellite TV decoders.
Makes sense. People upgrade or they move or whatever, and that equipment has got to go somewhere.
Exactly. And he's developing policies and procedures for the whole process, making sure it runs smoothly.
So he's thinking about the big picture, how to make it efficient and scalable.
And he's monitoring performance too, seeing how well it's all working.
Got to have those metrics.
But here's the kicker. He redesigns the way they pay for the recovery service.
Okay, this sounds promising.
And he manages to cut the cost per unit from $18 down to $13 in the first year.
Whoa, that's a huge saving.
We're talking about $500,000 in savings just in that first year.
That's incredible. It shows he's not just managing. He's looking for ways to improve things.
He sees a problem, figures out the root cause, and comes up with a solution that saves a ton of money.
And it's not just a quick fix. It's a systemic change that has a lasting impact.
Okay, so hold on to your hats. Because from July 2012 to February 2013, he becomes Senior Planner of Logistica Inversa.
Senior Planner, now we're talking serious strategic thinking.
Right. He designs and implements a reverse distribution requirements planning system, or DRP, for the reconditioning centers.
Okay, now DRP, That's usually for forecasting demand and managing inventory when you're sending products out to customers.
Exactly, but he's applying it to the return of goods, which is way more complicated.
Because you don't know what's coming back when or in what condition?
Right, but he makes it work, and the impact is huge. He helps double annual operational growth through cost-effective strategies.
Whoa, doubling growth. That's impressive.
Yeah, and he cuts the cost of retrieving those units by 25%.
This guy is a money-saving machine.
I know, right? And he also redesigns the key performance indicators, or KPIs, and the incentives for the entire national recovery network.
So he's not just optimizing the process, he's getting everyone on board working towards the same goals.
And then from March 2013 to November 2014, he becomes supervisor of Logistica Inversa at DirecTV.
Okay, so now he's leading the whole show.
Yeah. He's in charge of the Colombian reverse logistics team. That's 7 analysts and 32 partner companies across the country.
That's a big responsibility.
He's planning, supervising, making sure they hit targets like the regional return success rate, staying within budget, and sticking to the master plan.
So many moving parts.
And the results keep coming. His initiatives help reduce the cost of acquiring new subscribers.
Because they're recovering more equipment, so they don't have to buy as much new stuff.
Exactly. And he consistently delivers annual net savings of over $15 million for 3 years straight.
3 years in a row, that's insane.
And his team is recognized as the most consistent reverse logistics team by DirecTV Panamericana.
So he's not just hitting numbers, he's building a high-performing team.
And he successfully adapts that skill-to-retrieval model for DirecTV Peru.
Taking what works and spreading it to other regions.
And on top of all that, the entire Supply Chain Colombia team achieves first place in the Great Place to Work survey in 2013 and 2014.
Wow, so he's creating a positive work environment too. That's leadership.
All right, next up, June 2015, he joins ETB Empresa de Telecomunicaciones de Bogotá SAESP.
Another big telecommunications company.
Yep, and he becomes their leader, Logistica Inversa, for almost 7.5 years until April 2024.
Okay, so this is a long stint. He must be really making a difference there.
Big time. He oversees the remanufacturing of 1.4 million units.
1.4 million, that's a huge number.
And he manages a $17.3 million investment that ends up generating $31.8 million in CapEx savings.
So he's not afraid to invest, but he's also making sure it pays off big time.
And we're not done yet. He also manages a reverse logistics service contract worth a whopping 63.5 billion Colombian pesos from 2015 to 2022.
Okay, that's a massive budget. We're talking serious responsibility here.
This contract covers the entire reverse logistics process for all of ETB's home equipment, from collection and recovery to repair, reconditioning, storage, delivery, and inventory management.
So he's basically running the whole show for their customer-facing equipment.
Pretty much. And he's doing it all while staying within that huge budget and hitting those tough targets.
Talk about pressure, but he clearly thrives on it.
Okay, so on top of all that, he leads the design, implementation, and supervision of the reverse logistics team structure.
So he's building the team from the ground up.
And he's working with both ETB's procurement management and their external operational partner.
So he's got to be a master collaborator, bringing all those different groups together.
And they achieve some incredible results under his leadership.
Like what?
They managed to source over 130,000 reconditioned units in the first 79 weeks.
That's way ahead of schedule. They must have blown those initial targets out of the water.
And in 2016, he does something really innovative. He implements the first FTTH network terminal remanufacturing laboratory in Colombia.
FTTH, that's fiber optic to the home, right? Like the future of internet.
Exactly. He's seeing the trends and getting ahead of the curve.
Far.
And this lab ends up saving over 4 billion Colombian pesos in 2016 alone.
Seriously.
And then from 2017 to 2018, it saves a whopping 6 billion pesos annually.
That's like printing money.
It's incredible. And it shows how he's not just focused on the present, he's thinking about the future and building solutions that will have a lasting impact.
A true visionary.
Oh, I almost forgot. During his time at ETB, they also generate something like 13 billion Colombian pesos in non-operational revenue in both 2015 and 2016.
Non-operational revenue. How to do that?
By selling surplus equipment.
Ah, so they're taking stuff that might have just been sitting around and turning it into cash.
Exactly. It's a really smart way to maximize the value of their asset.
Okay, so now fast forward to May 2024. He takes on a new role as Gerente de Compras y Mantenimientos at Logitech Mobile Colombia CITES.
That's a mouthful.
What does that mean in English?
Basically, he's the head of procurement and maintenance.
Makes sense.
And he holds this position until December 2024.
So a shorter stint, but still sounds like a really important role.
Oh yeah, he's responsible for getting all the goods and services for the whole company, and he also oversees all the maintenance for their buildings and sites across Colombia.
So a really broad range of responsibilities.
And he doesn't waste any time. He creates a jefatura de adecuaciones, which basically means he's bringing some previously outsourced activities in-house.
Sounds like a cost-saving move.
You know it.
So looking at his CV, it's amazing how his skills and experience line up perfectly with all these achievements we've been talking about.
It's like a roadmap of his career.
He lists a ton of skills related to supply chain and logistics, things like reverse logistics, SCM, strategic sourcing inventory management, DRP warehousing operations, management process improvement, and cost reduction.
And we've seen him put all those skills into action, saving companies millions of dollars, streamlining processes, and making a real difference.
It's not just theory, he's got the results to back it up.
And then there are his management and leadership skills, team leadership and development, KPI management, project management, contract management and negotiation in the glass, supplier management, cross-functional collaboration, and stakeholder management.
Those are essential for anyone in a leadership position, and we've seen how he's used them to build and motivate high-performing teams, negotiate huge contracts, and manage complex relationships with all sorts of stakeholders.
He's not just a logistics expert, he's a leader who gets things done.
And let's not forget about his analysis and technical skills. Things like data analysis reporting, business intelligence, budget management, financial analysis, risk management, and root cause analysis.
It's clear that he's a data-driven decision maker. He uses information to identify problems, find opportunities, and develop effective solutions.
That's so important. In today's world, you can't just rely on gut feeling. You need data to back up your decisions.
And of course, he's got the technical skills to match. He's proficient in ERP systems like JDE, Enterprise One, CRM systems like Siebel, and he's an advanced Microsoft Excel user.
Those are the tools of the trade, and he's clearly mastered them.
And he also understands public and private sector bidding processes and corporate social responsibility, which shows he's well-rounded and committed to ethical business practices.
It's all about the big picture.
Right. And then there's his education, a CPCA certification in purchasing and procurement from 2023, a specialist in corporate management control from Universidad Externado de Colombia in 2009, and a bachelor's degree in business administration from Universidad Nacional de Colombia in 2005.
So he's got the academic credentials to go along with all that practical experience.
Yeah, he's constantly learning and developing his skills, which is so important in any field, but especially in a fast-paced industry like supply chain and logistics.
So to sum it all up, Camilo's CV is more than just a list of jobs. It's a testament to the power of hard work, strategic thinking, and a dedication to continuous improvement.
He's a true leader in the field of supply chain and logistics, and his career is an inspiration to anyone who wants to make a real impact in their chosen profession.
Absolutely. Yeah. He shows that you can climb the ladder, achieve incredible results, and build a fulfilling career, all while staying true to your values and making a positive difference in the world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Camilo's professional journey, we want to leave you with a final thought.
Hit us with it.
We've seen how he's used the principles of reverse logistics and strategic sourcing to achieve amazing things in the telecommunications industry.
Yeah, those principles are super powerful.
But what about other industries? Could these same principles be applied to make things more efficient and sustainable?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Think about your own field of work or areas of interest. Are there any hidden opportunities to optimize processes, reduce waste, and create value?
It's all about looking at things with fresh eyes and being willing to challenge the status quo.
Camilo's career shows that it's possible to make a real difference by thinking outside the box and constantly striving for improvement.
So go out there and find those opportunities, be the Camilo of your industry.
And that's a wrap on The Deep Dive.